Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another week of training with Scentsy Success Academy. I am hoping that you were able to catch the previous video that I recorded not too long ago, because if you did, this one's going to be making a little bit more sense, but if not, it's okay. But just to sum up the last video, the last training that I did recently, I had a couple boxes that had come in, and we opened the boxes up together, talked about the products that were in the boxes, and I shared a little bit about Scentsy sales. So whenever we have something that's referred to as like a warehouse sale, or recently it was called, I think, like the sweet sale, whatever you want to name it, I wanted to show the previous video. I just showcased a little bit about like what I had ordered, why I ordered it, things for myself, things for future purposes for the holidays coming up, etc. So if you haven't already, make sure and go back and watch that, because I shared a little tips and tricks, little nuggets with y'all. But this week's training is going to be a little bit shorter. I did want to touch base, basically on the sale that just ended at the end of this month, end of May. So depending upon when you're catching this video, we did have a sale that I believe lasted for a couple of days, which was fantastic. It went into Memorial Day weekend, which was really great. And it was, I think it was referred to as, like I said before, the sweet sale. And it was really exciting because the sale itself was, I believe, up to 70% off. So there were products anywhere from about 40%, I believe, up to 70% off. But there was a good chunk of variety of products, which was so exciting and so awesome. And I just want to do a little quick breakdown as far as if in the future you decide to participate as a consultant in one of the Scentsy sales that we have, I want to give you a little bit of a quick breakdown as far as what it looks like to work the sale. I believe that whenever I first started as a consultant, I would have never really thought to the extent of the depth that the work that you could do as a consultant to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success when it comes to working a sale. Okay, whenever I first started, I feel like that really what I assumed was maybe possibly posting like once if there was a flyer or something that was created by another consultant, another leader in the company. I would share the flyer. I would say, hey, there's a sale coming up. I would also make the mistake in putting my shopping link in the caption. If you know, you know. I would do something along those lines and then pretty much call it a day and then be like, okay, I'm going to shop the sale for myself and then just hope for the best. Now, granted, during a pivotal time, whenever we were extremely successful during, like, what was it, like the 2020, 2022-ish time, yeah, we could get away with doing something like that. But these days, it's a little bit more intricate. It's a little bit more personal, not difficult to say the least, but if you're not intentional is going to be the key word we're going to be talking about today. If you're not intentional, if you're not purposeful, you're really going to miss out on a huge opportunity to gain any kind of PRV, honestly. Get ahead of pretty much of where you were before, prior to the sale. And here's the thing is that, I will say full transparency, over how many, 5.5 years that I've been with Scentsy, there's been some sales that I've had incredible success with, and there have been some sales that have been duds, that have been crickets. But here's the thing, the bottom line is that I didn't feel disappointed in myself if I didn't necessarily get a sale other than my own from a sale special, whatever you want to call it, that we've done over the last couple of years that I've been with Scentsy. If there has been times where I didn't have a success, meaning I didn't have one order placed other than my own, I would not have felt bad about it. Yes, it would have been great and exciting, right, to get the extra PRV. But I knew that if I took the steps to work the sale to make sure that I was reaching out to customers, going over step by step what I'm pretty much going to share with y'all here in a little bit, I'm not going to feel bad about it, because even though the results were not there, I can say, hey, I did what I could. I shared the information out. I didn't stop at just day one, etc. And I showed up, right? And, sometimes you're going to have a greater outcome from the work that you're putting in, and other times it's going to be honestly seeds that you're planting along the way for success at another time. So let's go ahead and dig in. If you want to, go ahead and grab a pen, pencil, paper, however you want to take notes. If you want to pause this, that's the beauty of pre-recording these videos, is that you can pause it and then take notes, which is honestly hands down one of my favorite things to do. So let's do a little bit of a breakdown on the steps that I personally did to work the sale. Before I even go into this as well, I will say that y'all know I talk about this over and over and over. ChatGPT, so chat is definitely one of my best friends by far. I love using ChatGPT. And this time around, I think was the first time since using chat in the last 2 years that I utilized it for a sale. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So number one, right out the gate, the day that I found out about this specific sale, I will say I had to pivot, and I had to pivot hard. What do I mean by that? Sometimes Scentsy loves to throw these incredible sales at us, but what happens? We're not really as prepared, right? It's usually, to me, now that I look back on it, it's honestly the most exciting part, because I don't think there would be as much hype built around it had we have had like 2 weeks repair. Now, I will say that this was great because I believe we did have a couple of days before the sale took off. So that was actually glorious, even though, like I said, I had to uncomfortably pivot because your girl had a full week stuff of already things that I was going to email and text and planning and doing, right? But then when the sale hit, the beauty of being an independent Scentsy consultant is that you can choose, heck yeah, I'm going to participate in the sale. Yes, I'm going to work it. I'm going to do exactly what I need to do. And the next couple amount of days, I'm going to be focusing as much as I can on the sale. Or you could be the other consultant. And this is perfectly fine if you're this specific person. Is that, you know what? The sale sounds exciting, but I just don't know if it's in my schedule. I don't know if I have time for it. I may check it out, but I'm not really going to work it over the next couple days. You may even possibly, maybe share it out with like your customers, but it's going to be like the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to be doing multiple steps to make sure that you're showing up in different places. It could be that maybe life is lifing. It could be that you're not feeling well. It could be that maybe, I know some team members, it's okay to be like this. Some of my team members, y'all, if you're watching this, y'all know who I'm talking about, is that things like this make you nervous, make you feel anxious, and that's okay. Why is that okay? Because we still have a clearance section. If you didn't know that, you know it now. We have a clearance section. We have theme bundles every month that you can focus on. We have warmer of the month, scent of the month. We have an entire catalog that you could focus on and share with your customers. To me, think about like LTOs. Think about these special sales as sprinkles, little seeds planted in your business. It's not the all to end all. It's not like the main focus of your entire month, right? Of your goal, of your PRB goal. It's not the main focus. Why? Because a lot of times we don't know until like we know, right? We don't know ahead of time that X amount of this LTO is going to come out, and we just don't know when, but we have been told at the beginning of the month. Yes, sometimes we do, but other times it's just kind of thrown at us, just like the sale was, right? And you had to decide, okay, I'm going to go down this path. Am I going to work it? I'm going to see what happens. Or I'm like, maybe next time, and then go the other direction. So first and foremost, when I found out about the sale, what did I do? I posted immediately. Yes, I posted, but hear me out. I posted to my stories. I did not post to my page. Why? Why did I not post to my page right out the gate? Because everybody and their mother was. And guess what? That messed up the algorithm. I'm not going to waste my time. I went to stories. If you didn't know this, when you post your stories, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, they last for about almost a 48-hour period. So you're getting more exposure that way. You don't want every single story. You don't want to share your stories like 3 or 4 times of like word vomiting about the sale. But what I highly recommend doing is before you even post about the sale, which is like what I did do, is I posted a photo of myself, and I think I had like an iced coffee, and it was just me. People love seeing stuff like that. They love seeing little glimpses into your personal life. So typically I'll share something like that first and foremost right out the gate to my stories. And then maybe I'll set my timer for, I don't know, doesn't really matter-ish, but maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, whatever. Right after that, then I'll post about the sale. Okay, so I did that first. Then after that, leading up to the sale, I posted every few days again in stories. So doesn't matter what kind of post I was putting to my stories. The point is that after that specific day, every other day up until the sale day, I was posting to my stories. Number 2, email your customers. So this is going to look a little bit different. You can email your customers through the Scentsy Connect app now. You can, which the one thing I still do is I like to log into my workstation and I emailed out my customers that way. If you didn't know that, you can actually go to your contacts through workstation. Scentsy now has these incredible templates that you can click on, and that's what I did. I uploaded my image. I went to ChatGPT. There it is again, right? I asked specifically for wording that sounded like me, that I could talk about the sale. And I had a flyer that I create. Now, you don't have to be this fancy. I created a flyer through Canva. Also, ChatGPT sometimes will come out with some really great flyers. Just going to plug that in, just saying. Otherwise, if there's a flyer, an image that another consultant has created, by all means, save it, use it, email it. So that's what I did right out the gate. I emailed all my customers. Now, granted, the customers that I specifically emailed have opted in to me verbally that they want to be a part of my email subscription. So this is not talking about Scentsy's emails that they send out. This is the emails that I specifically send out. Okay. So another little fun fact for you is that if you go to your workstation, again, you go to contacts, you can create tags. So that's so cool, y'all, because you can create a tag, and then for anyone, for example, if you had customers that did order from this last sale that just took place, that just ended recently, you want to absolutely, before you end this video, pause, go to workstation, log in. You want to go to tags and create a tag that says something, keep it simple. You can say sales or warehouse sale, or for me, honestly, just say sales. It'll be the easiest. Create the tag, and then for every customer that placed an order during the most recent sale, you're going to apply that tag to their name. Okay. The reason why you want to do that is because those are also the customers that you want to specifically email and reach out to as well. So for me, like I said, the second thing that I did the same day that I found out about the sale is that I emailed all of my customers that have opted in to be on my email list. Okay. Number 3, I texted those who haven't ordered in a while. I am going to be, again, full transparency with y'all. ADHD big time, squirrels everywhere. Okay. I do not physically, on my own, keep track of those who haven't ordered in a while. Guess what? If you downloaded your Scentsy Connect app, and hopefully you have, because it's free, by the way, to do, download the Scentsy Connect app. Then you can go to, I believe it's called your task, if I'm not mistaken, but there's a specific place on there that'll tell you who hasn't ordered in a while, okay? Which is the coolest thing ever. Also, as I just saw, because it just actually popped up at the top of my screen, Scentsy will notify you if there's anybody that they have logged as a customer who hasn't purchased in a while, who may or may not be ready to order again. They'll log that, and then that is a list that you can reach out to as well. If you, for whatever reason, don't want to download the Scentsy Connect app, you can go back to Workstation. Again, go to Workstation. You want to go to Reports. You want to go to, I believe, or Customers. Might have said that backwards. And then there's going to be a specific place on there that's going to say, again, customers who haven't ordered in a while. And you're going to go to that list, right? So that's basically who I text, was those who haven't ordered in a while. The next group of people that I text was my party host. If you have any current party hosts, if you have any customers who have a rewards link, those are also the ones you want to text one-on-one. Again, you want to send them a message that's talking and referencing the sale. Give them a little insight of when is it going to happen? Reshare their link with them, right? Then the next group of people that I reached out to was those that have, again, I emailed them, right? But I also want to text them and reach out to them. And this is not all in one day. So I'm sorry, I should have said that. So after I posted the stories and I emailed everyone, the next day I started on texting. So the third group of people that I text was those who had ordered from previous sales. So pretty much like the same group of people that I emailed, they're also the ones that I sent a text to one-on-one. Now here's the thing. I'll add this little tidbit in. So if your schedule is a little bit more flexible, and you want to spend the time like 15-20 minutes before the sale starts that day, that morning, and text them out and let them know like, hey, the sale's going to be starting soon, here's your reminder, here's your link, etc. Great. For me, I know I was going to forget, plus honestly I wanted to be on the sale myself and see what was on there, right? So what I ended up doing is I scheduled out a text reminder to those who opted in for it. So whenever I text them and I let them know about the sale, I let them respond and I said, oh, I'm so glad you're excited. I can't wait to see what's available too. By the way, do you want a reminder the day of the sale? If they say yes, then what you can do is say, I project broadcast, but hopefully I didn't lose you yet. Because, now don't ask me about iPhone. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. But at Android, I know for sure with Android phones that you can go to your messages and you can find who you're going to contact, and then you can schedule out a text to send at another time. So it's like the same thing, sending a reminder out. Okay. All right, next. So going into later of the second day of sale. So second day of sale. So what I mean by that is the sale's already happened, right? So day one of the sale happened, and then now we're on to day two of the sale. Because here's the thing is that we don't know when we have a special sale with Scentsy if certain products are going to stick around. We don't even know if the sale is going to last more than a day. Typically, they will set a end date for the sale to end. However, they'll also put into the clause and or when basically products sell out, right? So either or, end date or when products sell out. So it's not guaranteed. So here's the thing. The first day of the sale, I'm not going to put any more work in leading up to that point. And I'm not going to do any like fancy stuff, extra stuff, because here's the thing. I don't know if the sale's still going to last, right? But I followed up with my customers through text and email prior to the sale starting, right? I did all that. And then I got on and did it myself. Day two, woke up that morning, noticed, hey, the sale was still going on. So day two of the sale, what did I do? I ended up going to my website. I specifically looked through the sale. I wanted to see what was all available. Based off of what was available, I went back to Workstation. I went back to my reports under your contacts. So under reports, there's also going to be a link that specifically says, or ask you if you want a list of specific products that a customer's ordered. Where that comes in handy is that if you're looking at the sale list on your website, for example, I saw that there was a good amount of pods, a good amount of wax, and laundry. So what did I do? So when I pulled up that list that Scentsy provided me, I was able to search those specific products. So I didn't like say specific fragrances. I just typed in pods, right? So then Scentsy was able to pull an entire list for me of all my past customers who have ordered, for example, pods. And then, you get the picture, everything else. So what I did is with that list, I then reached out to those people again. And now I know what you're saying. It's going to sound to you, especially if you haven't done this before, it's going to sound like you're bugging your customers. Here's the thing. If your customer had already, for one, previously ordered from a sale, or if you know that they're a frequent purchaser when it comes to a very specific product, like pods, clean products, laundry line, if there is a deal on these specific products, especially the ones that are a little bit more like higher end-ish, they're going to want to know in on the deal. Trust me, I would much rather bug, I say that lightly because my customers, I'm not bugging them, but my customers would much rather be in the know and just be like, maybe next time, or, oh, thanks for letting me know, or not say anything at all. They would much rather be in the know than me not tell them at all and then miss it completely, or, God forbid, they hear about it from somebody else. And that has happened before, y'all. It has happened before. But I reached out to them, right? And I was like, whatever you want to say. Again, ChatGPT is going to be your best friend. I use it all the time, you know, and so I was letting them know about their products. So, for example, you know, the ones who have water pods before. Let's just use the example. I don't know, gosh, what's the name we can use as an example? Let's just say Lisa. We'll use Lisa as an example. You know, hey, Lisa, I know how much you love our pods. I hope you have a great day so far. Just wanted to let you know. And I actually do list, not all of them, but maybe like 4 or 5 different fragrances, specifically that are on sale. I'll just say like, you know, hey, this and this and this, you know, pods are on sale. This is how much they are now. This is how much they originally are. Let me know if you want to snag any. Now, here's the thing. If you're a customer, this is probably going to be a little confusing, so I'm going to apologize for this. But depending upon if your customer like lives locally to you, then you can suggest saying, you know, hey, I can't guarantee that they'll still be around, but if you're interested in these, I'm actually reaching out to a couple more customers today. I'll be putting in a group order. Let me get back to you on that. Now, if you feel like there's a sense of urgency, which in all honesty, when we have an incredible sale like this, there should be a sense of urgency, then you can be like, hey, you have to set the expectation, right? So I usually will tell my customer, okay, I'm going to put in a group order, and then you want to say either that the end of that day or the next day. Typically, I'll say that day. Again, sense of urgency. However, I'll say I'm not guaranteed, you know, I can't guarantee you that it'll still be around. You might be better off purchasing this one-on-one. Now, granted, I do offer, on a side note, I do offer my local customers twice a month group orders. So that means everybody split shipping. They porch pick up from my house. However, again, I can't stress this enough. Once an incredible sale like that, you just don't want to waste any time. You don't want to keep them waiting, especially if they're interested in purchasing. Give them the option. You can be, and like I said, just give them the option. Share the link with them. Set them up even an individual link, rewards link, and just be like, hey, you know, this sale, it's not guaranteed that your products that you love are going to be around for much longer. Not sure how much longer, you know, if it's going to end today, if it's going to end tomorrow. You're more than welcome to order here now. It'll ship directly to you. However, if you're willing to wait, and it's okay, and you might actually, you know, possibility of losing out on these products, I am working on doing a group order. I can get back with you. Depending upon your vibe, depending upon how you want to go about that, so each their own. Again, independent consultants, you get to choose what you want to do. Same thing for the specific products. I also, so again, like I said earlier, I messaged them one-on-one through text, but then I also emailed them as well. So any of the customers, for example, going back to pods, if they have ordered any kind of pods from me, I would say in the last like 2 years, really, minimum 2 years, maximum 2 years, then I would email them and then let them know as well. And then however that, you know, you want that to look. Let's see. So next, because the sale is still going on, so I think this was possibly day 3, I believe, of the sale. So I had a feeling, because it was the weekend, I had a feeling that because Scentsy Home Office, thank goodness, was closed for the holiday weekend. So I was like, okay, we might have actually all weekend to work the sale. So this was day 3. So depending upon, again, how the sale's going, you could mesh this definitely into day 2. If not, this was day 3 for me. So day 3, I then again went to my PWS. I looked at, like, for example, different like warmers and wax bars and pods, etc. And I wanted to figure out what kind of like theme bundles I could put together. So I put together one that I called, I think, like my summer special. So it was a warmer, a pod pack, and a mini fan, or, sorry, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. Scentsy Air. I think that's what we're calling all the products. Scentsy Air, but we'll also say a mini fan. Just to help my brain. But those 3 products were included. I refer to it as like my summer bundle deal. So you could create any kind of bundle with the sale, with clearance, and share not only in your party pages, so if you have any parties that are open, share them in the parties, but I'll also email my customers as well. I did not text this time, I just emailed them. Next, I then asked my customers to share a link on my behalf. So I messaged them and I said, you know, hey, just so you know, the sale's still going on. I love it if you don't mind, I'd love it so much if you could share this to your personal page. And then if they were opting in and they said, yeah, that's, no problem, let's do this, then I would send them maybe perhaps what to say, maybe like a sentence or two, no more than that. And then again, the shopping link for the sale. And then tell them, here's the picture, post the picture, this is what copy and paste this with the picture, boom, bang, done. Another way that you can work your business. Now you can opt in to tell them this. You don't have to tell them this, but just be like, hey, just so you know, I love referrals. I love, getting new customers. If when you share this post, if someone happens to order, I'll send you a send circle. Or, if you don't even want to, now I will do that, but a lot of times, honestly, I don't tell them that, and it's just a surprise. So to each their own. But you don't even have to do anything, by the way, if you don't know that, you don't feel like you have to do something, because you absolutely don't have to. Your customers more likely are going to want to support you no matter what that looks like. So most of them are not going to have a problem simply by sharing an image and a link on their pages, just because that's not going to cost them anything. And it doesn't take long at all to do. Next, again, if you have your Scentsy Connect app downloaded and you're using it, Scentsy was so generous to actually generate an email that we could send out to our customers as well. So that was incredible. And so that was nice. So make sure and double check that too, because you never know. Next, you then want to share, I did share then at that point, real life photos to not only my personal Facebook page, but to stories as well. I didn't go too crazy. I think I picked about maybe like 2 to 3 images. I think they were mostly of warmers, whatever you want to do, but make sure that they are real life images, because those are going to be the attention grabbers. Make it cute, add a fun song, add a little like GIF. Make sure you're not, if it's, I try to honestly stray away from licensed product, because that is walking kind of like a fine line. I don't really post about that unless it's a one-on-one through text or email, but everything else, find a real picture, post it to your stories. The last thing that I did is, let me see. Oh, the last point that I want to make, and I did this as well with my customers, is that I ended up actually sending one text out. The last text was the day after the sale ended, and I sent it out to all of my customers, not just the ones who ordered, but all of my customers. I text them and I said, thank y'all so much for shopping the sale. Hope if you were able to grab something, great. Thank you for, your support. I hope everyone has an incredible day, etc. And here's the thing, is I actually had a couple of customers text me or email me, and because they missed the sale. And it was actually pretty exciting, because if you will have at least one person that'll come back and be like, I can't believe I missed the sale. I mean, I had customers that were like, I had stuff sitting in my cart, I went back to go, and then it was taken. Or I waited a day or two, I had things in my cart, or I had things on my wish list, I went in to grab them, and the sale was over with. It happens, right? It happens. Like I said before, sometimes the sales last within a day and then they're done. This one was for a couple days. We just never know. But here's the thing. That is not the old end all. Okay, what do I mean by that? If your customer comes back and they have a conversation with you and they're like, oh, I'm so bummed, I'm so upset, I missed the sale, I wanted this, I wanted that, what am I going to do? They're upset, right? Let's find them a solution. What's the solution? We still have clearance. Focus on clearance. Look at perhaps if they mentioned something specific of what they were looking for, see if you can match something. You can find something that's going to come close enough to what they were looking for. Perhaps won't be the exact price, right? Because it was a special sale, but it's not going to be the exact price, but a discount is a discount in my mind, right? So if you're looking at clearance and there's something that comes close to what they were looking for, be like, hey, I'm so sorry you missed the sale. I don't know if you knew this, but... And then again, go to Facebook, search for that product name, find a real life photo, share it with them, let them in on the details. Also, other than clearance, what else do we have? We have Warmer and Scent of the Month. Warmer and Scent of the Month is 10% off the bar, the room spray, the pod pack, what else? The scent circles, and then the warmer itself, right? So that's a discount too. Also, if you go under your deals, Scentsy has curated bundles every single month that has a theme, right? Same thing. Share that stuff out with your customers. Okay, so Those are my tips. So I wanted to walk y'all through that first before I give y'all my results. Because in the past, when I have watched other trainings and other consultants share their results and then talk about what they did to work the sale, I feel like a lot of times they lead with the results, and then when they do that, not everyone, but I feel like that when they do that, there are some people that are viewing and watching and listening that they lose, and then they focus so much on like, oh, I didn't get any sales, I can't believe they got this. That's why I wanted to walk y'all through the steps that I took, and then let y'all know then the results of what came after. So let's do a breakdown before I give you the whole total, okay? I took the time and I wanted to do a breakdown. So hopefully I can read my writing. All right, so before the sale took place, I had one customer, because remember I said before the day of the sale, I had what? I had text and emailed my customers and let them know about the sale. So I had one specific customer who placed an order before the sale even started, okay? So, so I'll say, because my total that I'm going to give in a little bit is the total from the day of the sale and then the day that it ended. So prior to that, I had a customer that did place a 107 PRV order, which was so awesome, prior to the sale. But how I know that it was in conjunction with me reaching out to her via about the sale is because she ordered. Okay, let me make sure I say this right. She not only opened the email that I sent, right? Because I didn't text a specific person, I actually only emailed her. So that was the first telltale sign. But then also she attached her order to the link that I created for the sale. Okay, so she still ordered. So that was so awesome. That was a great surprise. So I'll say that before. And then after the sale ended, I then had, excuse me, two customers. Like I said before, they'll reach out to you. I had two customers that missed the sale, and then together combined, I was able to get 65 PRV within those two people. Okay, so aside from those three individuals, so out of all of my customers that I text, I believe I texted, oh gosh, how many? Probably about 50 or 60 people. So out of the customers that I solely text, I had 4 people reach out, and then all 4 wanted reminders the day of the sale. Okay. Total emails sent was 69. 32 of the 69 was open. Here's the thing. I'll say this, my little nugget for emails, is that I have been a lot more consistent over the last 2 months with emails than I've been since 5.5 years joining Scentsy. And I feel like that because I've been more consistent, when I'm focusing on more, it's not necessarily the sales, not even the click, not even if they're clicking the link or if I'm getting a sale from it per se, but are they opening the email? To me, that's planting the seed before I can get to everything else. So, like I said, I sent 69 emails out. 32 of those, 32 of the 69 was open. Scentsy Connect. I use Scentsy Connect. I sent through Scentsy Connect 18 emails, okay? 8 of those 18 were open, okay? So out of all of that, I ended up getting a total of 9 people who ordered, and I earned 340 PRV. Aside from those other 3 people that ordered before and after, 340 PRV just solely off of the sales. So that was over a 3-day period, $340 PRV, and then 9 people ordered. Now altogether, technically, we could say, let me think, 9, so 12 technically altogether if we're including the ones before and after the sale, which I will say I will, honestly, because me putting in that work and working the sale over like a 3-day period for myself personally, I would say that actually like paid off, and then, was in conjunction connected with that. So that's that. That's the breakdown. Hopefully that can help you guys. Like I said, as far as future sales go with Scentsy. Also, like I said, after this video, make sure, I do highly recommend, like I said, go back and watch the previous video that I did, because that'll actually give you kind of then more an in-depth breakdown as far as for myself personally as a consultant, what I look at for myself personally as I am shopping the sale. And just like I said, like little tips and tricks there as well. But that's it. So hope y'all, hopefully y'all got something out of that. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. Stay tuned. We're going to pick back up on our Scentsy Success Academy training, because whenever we kick off this next week, it'll actually be the first week of June, which I'm really excited about. So stay tuned for that. If you had any key takeaways, any questions, please let me know below. Otherwise, I hope y'all have an incredible rest of your weekend, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, y'all.